It's brand new, Season 2. I'm Marissa Thalberg.
And I'm Stephen Wolf Bedeta, and we're excited to be back having bigger, bolder, and always real conversations.
Straight from the C-suite front lines of marketing, media, and more.
We have great friends joining from people you may know, like Vilmer Valderrama and Bobby Burke.
And people you'll want to know. So grab a coffee or, hey, even an Aperol Spritz and come join us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Listen to Brand New on the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Trap Nerds Podcast.
This is not an episode.
I'm pretty sure this is a promo.
You know what it is. We in this piece.
Trap nerds, real niggas like you never heard.
We giving you reliable gaming news with the best movie and TV reviews from a blurred perspective.
All things inside and out of blurred culture.
Listen to the Trap Nerds Podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's good? It's Colleen Witt, and Eating While Broke is back for Season 3. Brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. We're serving up some real stories and life lessons from people like Van Lathan, DC Young Fly, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and many more. They're sharing the dishes that got them through their struggles and the wisdom they gained along the way. We're cooking up something special, so tune in every Thursday. Listen to Eating While Broke on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Get emotional with me, Radhi Devlukia, in my new podcast, A Really Good Cry. We're going to be talking with some of my best friends.
I didn't know we were going to go there on this.
People that I admire.
When we say listen to your body, really tune into what's going on.
Authors of books that have changed my life.
Now you're talking about sympathy, which is different than empathy, right?
Never forget, it's okay to cry as long as you make it a really good one. Listen to A Really Good Cry with Radhi Devlukia on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Dani Shapiro, host of the hit podcast Family Secrets. Imagine this. Your parents sign away your childhood to an academic psychological study. And what about if your sister is very publicly tried, convicted, and sent to prison, when really she was just telling her long-buried truths? These tough questions are just a few that we'll be grappling with on our upcoming 10th season of Family Secrets. Listen to Season 10 of Family Secrets on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Episode 418, Minimalist Skincare Routines.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends Podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we're talking about our Lord and Savior, the Holy Trinity of skincare, moisturizers, cleansers, and sunscreen. And a little bit more. We're diving a little bit deeper than just that. Please tune into the following 45 minutes of the episode. Don't just leave now. But there is
more to it than that.
That is what most of you said is your skincare routine. And that's great. And if you're looking to start a skincare routine or minimize, like make your skincare routine a little more minimalist, we are here for you. Or maybe you're already minimalist, you're looking to maybe alter or get better. You think you need more products. Maybe you just need different products. We're covering all of it today.
Yeah. Why have a minimalist skincare routine? What it can look like. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about it. What Jen and I do. Oh
yes.
You didn't ask, but we'll tell.
Our soft, supple skin.
Not as supple as it once was.
I'm so sorry.
We're solidly in our mid-30s. Oh, but first, this episode is brought to you by two-step processes, like refilling your water and then drinking that water, seeing your toenails are too long and trimming them, making plans and then remembering those plans, or signing up for the Friendletter and opening those emails. We love a good, simple two-step process for its low barrier to entry and high returns. It doesn't take much to get our newsletter, drink water, or clip your toenails. So just do it and reap the benefits. frugalfriendspodcast.com.
But if you're going to choose one of the three, definitely sign up for the Friendletter.
Yeah.
That's going to be...
Your toenails can wait. It's totally fine. That's what flip-flops are for.
Dermatologists might argue that you should be drinking water, but you have to do that all day. Signing up for the Friendletter and opening an email, just, 30 seconds. So you can still drink your water. But if you are interested in beautification and all of this self-care, then we have several episodes on this topic. We have episode 360, Saving Money on Makeup, episode 336, How to Get Self-Care and Healthcare Treatments for Free or Low Cost. Those two complement this episode so well, so definitely cue them up. 360, 336. It's going to be a self-care Sunday for you with all three of these episodes.
Is it Sunday?
It could be if they're listening to it on Sunday.
Okay, you're just being real specific about who you're talking to.
I mean, any day could be a self-care day.
We just like alliteration over here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the article that we're primarily going through today comes from Comfort Zone, and it's titled The Power of a Minimalist Skincare Routine. It's quite a lengthy one, but we're going to talk about the benefits of a minimalist skincare routine and how to create a minimalist skincare routine.
We're just going to call it skincare routine from here on out because that's a lot of syllables.
Yeah. So the first one that I'm going to highlight here is that it's cost effective, that when you don't have a whole lot going into how you care for your skin, when it's not a 12-step process and it's closer to a 2-step process, maybe even a 3-step process, it's going to be more cost effective because you're buying less, you're buying fewer things. That doesn't mean that you can't purchase high quality products, but if you're buying less of them, you could still win out in the long run financially.
That's one of the reasons to minimize, is so that we can use the best quality products on our skin. Our skin is our largest organ. We should be prioritizing, high quality when we're putting it on our skin. This isn't like a steam cleaner that we just covered high quality, affordable cost steam cleaners in the Friendletter. I was like, this is not a steam cleaner. This is your skin.
Yeah.
So you do want to be conscious of what you put on it. And we can afford to put higher quality products on our skin when we are buying fewer of them.
And a skincare routine of any sort that is good using high quality products can help in cost prevention, like preventing you from getting early onset skin cancer or skin cancer at all.
All the things that come with not enough sun care or not enough care for our skin, prevention is always going to be more affordable than treatment or correction. So this isn't just a cosmetic thing. Like, we are really looking into the future and hoping to prevent as many healthcare expenses in the future as we can. The next benefit of a minimalist skincare routine is that it is time saving. And I'm also going to loop this in with another one on the list, that it is easier to stick to. So the fewer things that we have, there's obviously no shortage of skincare products to choose from. The fewer we do, the more time we save. And so if you're like a busy mom like me, that sounds like I'm starting an ad. If you're a busy mom like me, no, but if you barely have time to like go to the bathroom in the morning, like while getting your kids ready, then this is a must. This is the way we make this sustainable. So it's going to be time saving, which means it's going to be easier to stick to. So remember, when we buy things, we want to use them. That's another big mistake that we make, is that we buy these things with the best of intentions and we don't pay attention to the season of life that we're in, or how long it's going to take to do the 12-step process. So we have all these great products, but they don't get used because they don't fit in with the lifestyle. So pay attention to how your mornings and your evenings go. Maybe your evenings are more flexible and you can afford to do a little extra at night. So pay attention to those, because the best way to save money on skincare is to use the full skincare product before it expires.
Yeah, that's the worst, when you forget that something's around, you're not using it, and then finally you decide I'm going to use it, and then rash.
Yep.
Big old red rash.
Straight to rash.
Yes. Another benefit of keeping your skincare routine minimal is that there are fewer potential skin irritants. So
straight to rash.
Speaking of rashes, if you have sensitive skin, then this is definitely for you. But just really any of us, the fewer products we have, the less likely we are to be exposing our skin to irritating ingredients. Using too many products, just stacking and stacking and stacking, can cause skin issues like breakouts, blemishes, dark spots, hyperpigmentation. And not to mention that then it's difficult to pinpoint what ingredients are causing a reaction when you're using a whole bunch of different stuff. So when you can really narrow it down to a really good, simple routine, then you can reap all the benefits that we've been describing, but also hopefully help your skin out in the long run, have less irritants, then greater levels of confidence in the way that your skin looks with a really great routine.
Mm-hmm. Then the next one for me is less clutter. I love anything that minimizes clutter. Because the more clutter we have around, it impacts our decision making for the rest of the day, right? We wake up and we process it. Our head processes the number of things that we see in our house. And the more clutter we have when we wake up, that impacts negatively our decision making throughout the day. So if we can start with a minimalist skincare routine and minimize that clutter, already that started us on a better foundation for the day to make other decisions later on. And it can be stressful when you have all of these products and you don't know if they're working and you're like, should I keep using this one? I should use it because I bought it, but should I be using it at the same time as this? And yada, yada. I get testers of like skincare products every once in a while, and I try to use them up and incorporate them. And I'm always asking, what order should I put this in? Like, because there is a specific order, right? Skincare girlies know there's a specific order the stuff goes in. And I was like, I have to Google it again. And what does this do? Is it doing the same thing as another thing? So like, it's not just like less clutter on your vanity, it's less clutter in your brain. And I mean, the benefits beyond that, like it helps you. So having an actual skin care routine is great because it allows you to create these solid routines that minimize the chaos and the clutter of your, schedule. And you can stack new habits onto it. So you can either stack a new skincare routine onto an old routine like brushing your teeth. And then in the future, when you're trying to build another new habit, maybe like tracking your expenses or checking your net worth or something financial, you can stack it onto your skincare routine. So yeah, it lessens the clutter physically and mentally. And I love that.
Yeah, we all love that.
And in our schedule, our morning schedule routine. All right. All around.
Let's get to the how-to of creating a minimal skincare routine. So the first is that you're going to want to assess what type of skincare needs you have. They list out some common skin types being acne prone or oily skin, sensitive skin, dry skin, or a combination. That could mean that you've got some spots on your skin that are dry, other parts that may be more oily. But the good news is that there are products for all types of people. So chances are you probably have a decent understanding of what your skin type is. But of course, it's something you can ask the dermatologist or a friend who might know if they've done deep dives on the type of skin that people have. You can there's probably a quiz even. But then we also have linked in our show notes the different types. So the trinity that Jen identified.
The holy trinity of skincare.
Yep.
Cleanser,
moisturizer, and sunscreen. So we've got these linked on what type of cleanser, what type of moisturizer, what type of sunscreen might be best for your specific skin type. So
did you know there are 8 types of cleansers?
That's so crazy.
I did not know this. I thought it was. So I have oily skin. What kind of skin do you have?
normal, I've been told.
I have very oily
typical.
skin.
If anything, I might err on the side of dry, but mostly just right in the middle.
So there are gel cleansers, cream cleansers, oil, foam, clay, powder, micellar, I'm not sure. It's French. And bar cleansers. And so I anticipate that each of these, even underneath, has different for oily, combination, dry. So definitely check out this article because we're not going to go through what each one is, but it would be like if you have a lot of cleansers at home and you hear all these like dermatologists on TikTok and Instagram, or maybe not dermatologists, maybe just girls going to Sephora buying skincare products. Like they're all talking about these different like miracle cleansers that they love, but it may not be a fit for you.
Yeah.
Like it may not be a fit for your skincare type, and you may be able to find a cleanser that you love better. I think mine, we're going to go through our skincares later, but like I've tried a lot of these not knowing there was a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, with moisturizers as well as sunscreen, there are different recommendations for different types of skin and even different ages and what you're looking for out of your moisturizers. So there are different benefits that moisturizers can provide, like hydration, protection from the sun, brightening, anti-aging. So depending on where you're at in life, you might have different values on what and type of skin you have on what your moisturizer is going to be doing for you. So I would say it's worth putting some research into this. I know that that's one of the things that can be overwhelming, and that's why we end up buying all these products and have this collection of clutter in our drawers and cabinets. But if you could just look at a couple of articles on cleansers, moisturizers, and sunscreens and pick what's right for you, and stick to that. And I would say give it at least a month before you really decide, does this product work for me? Does it not? Because it does take our skin some time to respond to it.
Yeah. There are a lot of different types of cleansers, but not as much for moisturizers and sunscreens. So they're saying there's only 3 types of moisturizers: emollients, humectants, and occlusives. And there's one of each for each of the skin types. So moisturizer, much easier to figure out. And then for sunscreen, I think they were just saying there's 2 types. So you can decide. And this also, choosing what kind you want will also help you if you want to combine any.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Trap Nerds Podcast.
This is not an episode, it's a promo.
You know what it is. Promo time. We in this piece.
Trap nerds. Real niggas like you never heard.
Join the Trap Nerds podcast every Monday and listen to us discuss all things inside and out of blurred culture.
So what if Quentin Tarantino squashes his beef with Marvel and be like,
oh God, just see how many foot shots a road we'll see I'll be down with. Man, you're gonna be extra racist. With the best movie and TV reviews from a blurred perspective.
I think if Bo DeMayo hadn't got fired, Kevin Feige would be in trouble right now.
Preach.
We giving you reliable gaming news and real genuine game reviews.
I'll stand for Lightning.
Why does she have 3 games?
Because she a bad
I hate you so much right now.
Listen to the Trap Nerds Podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's good? It's Colleen Witt, and Eating While Broke is back for Season 3. Brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. We're serving up some real stories and life lessons from people like Van Lathan.
TMZ was starting a tour. Harvey came and took the tour. By July, I'm on TV every day. I endear myself to the audience. He comes in, he goes, we're going to give you a raise. I think maybe a year, 2 years after that, I was a producer.
DC Young Fly.
It wasn't really no way for us to make income off of Vine like that. It was more so notoriety. Once that popped off, it was like people was following it. And I didn't know how big it was. I didn't know people was doing this on their spare time. I was don't do that, kids. That's bad. It was crazy that it had to be that real and that harsh.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Our mission was we was telling everybody in the hood, we finna go meet Eazy-E. We about to come back and do a video. Of course, we didn't know, so we was lying like a mother.
Little do we know, we speak in reality and we gonna come back with a bus and camera crew.
And many more. They're sharing the dishes that got them through their struggles and the wisdom they gained along the way. We're cooking up something special, so tune in every Thursday. Listen to Eating While Broke on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives you access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
If someone asked you to name a queer icon, who would you say?
Britney, Christina.
That's not who we were thinking about. Try again.
Shirley Bassey, Tina.
And again?
Madonna, Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey.
No, there's still someone you're missing.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen in particular.
Leather twink, Bruce Springsteen. Just very hand on hip, sassified Bruce.
This is Because the Bus Belongs to Us. A serious journalistic quest to get Bruce Springsteen recognised as the queer icon we know that he is.
There's so much camp potential with him.
On my dating profile, I had something about being a fan of Nebraska-era Bruce Springsteen.
It's like you squint and everyone can be a butch.
Listen to Because the Bus Belongs to Us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's something different about the conversations we have late at night.
They often spin off in strange and wonderful directions.
So we asked, what if those laid-back conversations were with some of the biggest musicians in the world and some of the most interesting new artists we love right now?
Midnight Chats has already welcomed Tame Impala, Charlie XCX, Mark Ronson, Vince Staples, and many others.
Our biggest and best series is happening right now.
So join me, Greg Cochran,
and me, Stuart Stubbs,
as we talk to our favourite musicians about the things they don't usually talk about.
I'm feeling more okay with being a diva.
There was one birthday when I went to a graveyard.
Every partner that I've ever had, when they look at my texts with my mother, are like, how are you sharing this information?
Listen to the new series of Midnight Chats every Tuesday night on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favourite shows.
So that brings me to my next how-to is to choose multi-purpose products. So I have a combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell. I can't say combination without saying I have a combination moisturizer, sunscreen, and like foundation. It's my dream product. It costs $45, but it's a good quality. I think it's from Smashbox, and I love it. So the people at Ulta or Sephora can kind of also lead you to the right. If you know the words, if you're like, I know I need a gel cleanser, or I want an emollient, they can lead you to where that is. You don't have to show up to Target and be like, I need an emollient, like where, how, what. But you could also, if you do want to buy from the drugstore, you can just Google like best emollient moisturizer, stuff like that. So you can find it there. But if you're looking to buy maybe higher quality products that are not necessarily, Target quality, then you can just like run into a Sephora or Ulta and say the words and they should know what you mean. But you can buy a lot of, multi-purpose things. So I have at night just like a regular moisturizer, but then in the day I have a moisturizer and sunscreen. And then if I'm going out and seeing people, I have the expensive moisturizer, sunscreen, foundation. So I have a couple options Just because you have
it's always like a 3-step, but a 3-step for different points of the day. Mm-hmm.
So like I don't just have 3 products.
Right.
But at any time I'm only using 2 to 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, there are a lot of options if you're going for the combination route. Do you have combination products, Jill?
Yes. Yes, I do. The foundation that I use is like a lightweight, like, yeah, what you're saying, like moisturizer and sunscreen. It has the zinc oxide in it, which is a more natural SPF 45, which I know a lot of people turn their nose up at makeup that has SPF in it. Like it's not enough because usually you're talking more like 15 to 20 SPF, but 45 on the face.
Yeah, 30 is the recommendation for sunscreen.
Good. Yeah.
They say you should have a 30 SPF on your face. So if your makeup has less than that, you'll want to be adding a sunscreen on top of it. So,
yeah, and a cleanser that can also act as a makeup remover. I think also just makeup that is easily removed with a cleanser.
All cleansers removing makeup?
Depending on what kind of mascara you use, sometimes you need specific remover for mascara. And so I've just simplified by doing mascara that doesn't require mascara remover.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think like your waterproof mascaras can be really hard to get off with just a regular cleanser.
Okay. They're also saying if you are somebody who's committed to like vitamin C or other antioxidants, instead of buying an additional serum, that you can look for products with those as active ingredients. Those are in there too, but those specific things aren't required.
Speaking of simplifying, also simplifying the steps, which is what we're talking about here. In this specific article, they're describing cleansing, using a toner, moisturizing, and applying sun protection. So they're adding in that extra step of a toner, but decide what works for you. If you can really simplify it down to just 3 steps, that'd be great. Cleanse, moisturize, skin protect. And at night, really, could just be cleanse and moisturize, potentially with any other additional pieces you want to add in, whether an under eye cream is important to you or a specific type of serum is important or a retinol. You decide what you want that to be, but know that you can get a really good, high quality, simplified routine in just 3 steps. You don't have to listen to all the noise of people telling you it needs to be 12 steps and 32 products.
Yeah, because that does take a long time because you need to wait between 30 to 60 seconds between each step for each product to fully absorb.
Yeah.
So if you have a 12-step process, that is taking you no less than 15 minutes. To do.
And some people love that. Like if you know that this is the routine that works for you and it's not prohibitive to you caring for your skin and that's just a nice routine at night, great.
Yeah.
But if you think that's what you have to do in order to
You're probably
take
not
care
listening
of yourself
to this episode
well.
if that is you. You don't want a minimalist skincare routine. And that's great. That's great. Don't force this episode on your friend who has a 12-step process that they love. But yeah, like if you have just 3 products and you're waiting a minute between each, I will brush my teeth. That's my like 60 seconds. I'll, cleanse, brush teeth, I will actually cleanse and then put on retinol. That's my at night instead of sunscreen, I use retinol. I'm 35. I just started using retinol because retinol less expensive than Botox. I'm saving money.
We love a good hack.
Right? There's your money saving. If you take nothing else from
is.
the episode, choose a retinol instead of Botox. There you go. So I'll do...
You may not get the same results, but...
It's going to be similar.
Something.
You're going to save... If you value your money over your fine lines, then... this may be the way to go for you.
We got a show for you.
So cleansing and then retinol, and then I'll brush my teeth after that. That's been a minute, and then moisturizer. So usually that's all I need to do. If I have something special, then then I'll go like wrangle one of my children for doing something. I don't know what I'm wrangling them for, but
something's always happening.
Usually the baby's already asleep when I do my skincare routine. And it's just usually making sure that Kai is putting on his pajamas, because he usually he stops midway through that process.
Mm-hmm.
And that's troublesome for me. So yeah, and that'll take a minute, and then I'll get back and I'll do the last step. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this leads perfectly into the last part of how to. It's to stick to your routine and adjust as needed. So a lot of these products, it's going to take a few months for you to see any difference, if you see anything at all. If it's preventative, then you hopefully won't see a difference. Hopefully you'll just stay the way you are for the rest of your life and have the skin of a 35-year-old when you're 80. That's what I'm going for. But you definitely want to stick to a consistent routine, because like they said, on the retinol bottle, you got to use it every day. And I don't know if that's a marketing thing that they're saying, like you have to use it every day and keep buying more. But all of the internet is also saying you have to use it every day. And then after a period of time, like a couple months, then you can adjust. So this is perfect. When you buy a product, use it in its entirety before before you decide to stop using it or use something else. Don't use it halfway, because it probably hasn't.
Unless it's causing you irritation,
exactly. Well,
or you
yes,
notice there's a bad reaction.
Right. If it's doing something bad to your skin, stop using immediately. But if it's just kind of like I don't know if this is doing anything, maybe I should buy something else, stop and just remember the reasons you bought it in the first place. Know that it takes a few months. Use what you have. And don't go out and buy something different right now because of this episode if you already have stuff at home. Like maybe you've got a gel cleanser and you want to try a powder cleanser. If the gel cleanser is doing okay for you, use it up. And then when you're buying something new, then you can get something different.
Yeah. Or even keep a log of, how did this one work? What do I think? Because we often forget what was my reaction to that gel cleanser? What did I think about it? I don't know. It was months ago.
Like get a note in your phone or use Notion to, all of any makeup. This is especially important for makeup when you're buying makeup and seeing what shades worked best on you, what ones didn't, all that. You can just tack on your skincare notes right underneath your makeup notes. That way, when you're going to restock, I realize that I restock on makeup once a year. Yeah. That's how so I'm not a big makeup skincare person. That's not an impulse spending thing for me. But I do want to buy it. And so I have given myself one time a year, I will buy everything fresh. And makeup girlies are yelling at me because they're like, you need to change your mascara every 2 weeks. I have never had an issue by doing this. But I'll rebuy everything once a year. I'll give myself permission to get another lipstick, try something. I can try anything, but I only try it that one trip per year.
Wow.
Yeah. And it kind of forces me to try new things because otherwise I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And getting our colors done definitely helped me get a little bit more adventurous.
Yeah.
The only thing I get adventurous with is lip color, and I don't want to get too adventurous with that. So the same can be with skincare too. If you are neglecting having a skincare routine because maybe you're a little nervous about it, you don't think you need it, maybe give yourself permission once a year to do this thing guilt-free, because it is so good.
I think that's another cost-effective thing. Having someone do an analysis on you of, your colors or your skin type. I honestly even think at Ulta and Sephora, they can do at least the skin type piece and recommend some things that are going to be good for you specifically. Because again, we sometimes just buy stuff, throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing, is this going to work for me? Thinking that's the less costly option, when in reality, we just keep buying and buying and buying. So between really understanding what your needs are, what's going to work for you, and then only buying those things, prioritizing the essentials, checking out just some highly rated drugstore brands too. Like there are ways to still save while having a good routine. And like we said, the multi-purpose products, embracing natural ingredients as much as possible. And I'll talk a little bit about how to maybe find products that are a little bit more like sustainable or eco-friendly. But there's a lot of different options out there, but hopefully the takeaway can be keep it simple.
Yeah, you don't have to have all the options.
Exactly.
But you do have all the options.
You know, the option that I always want to have, though.
This is a minimalist part. Like, there's just one thing after every article, like, segment. This is it. That's all you need.
The bill of the week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the bill of the week.
Hey guys, my name is Susan from Salt Lake City, and my bill of the week is that I just spent $25.74 on a new eyeliner from Sephora. Why this is exciting is that all of 2024, my husband and I have decided to make a no-spend year with some exceptions, some parameters in place, but we're trying to pay off a nagging debt that we have, a home equity credit line. And so we've decided to just cut back on any discretionary spending we can to have the payoff of this big goal by the end of the year. So the rule is with cosmetics and toiletries, I cannot buy new things until old ones are used up. And at the beginning of the year, I went through and collected all the little trial size, sample size items that I have, mini mascaras and a sample eye cream and little bars of soap from an old advent calendar. And I corralled them all and I'm using them up rather than using the supply I already had in my shower or in my makeup case. And so far, by using all that stuff, an eyeliner is the first thing that I've had to spend money on. So I would encourage any listeners who can to round up all that stuff, or donate it if you're not going to use it yourself, but save yourself some money, save it from just being tossed in a landfill down the road. If it's not used, try to make the best.
Nice, Susan.
Yes. What a perfect, I don't know if Goldie saved this for this episode or if it just happened to be on this one, but yes, I love doing that. I just got a gift. My birthday freebie from Ulta is a little leave-in conditioner. So I do need that for traveling. Mm-hmm. And so it saved me from having to buy one. Mm-hmm. But yes.
Yeah, I love the samples. For the travel pieces. Mm-hmm. It saves me from buying really marked up travel size stuff. Yep. That is such a waste in my estimation. This is really exciting, Susan. I hope that you are able to pay off that debt soon. Feel free to give us a call back whenever you do. We'd love to celebrate with you. If you all are listening and you have a bill to share with us, whether it's about decluttering, using stuff up, putting little games around debt payoff, or your name is Bill, frugalfriendspodcast.com/Bill. Leave us your bill.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Trap Nerds Podcast.
This is not an episode, it's a promo.
You know what it is. Promo time. We in this piece.
Trap Nerds. Real niggas like you never heard.
Join the Trap Nerds podcast every Monday and listen to us discuss all things inside and out of blurred culture.
So what if Quentin Tarantino squashes his beef with Marvel and be like,
oh God, just see how many foot shots of road we'll see. I'll be down with. Man, you know, gonna be extra racing with the best movie, and TV reviews from a blurred perspective.
I think if Bo DeMayo hadn't got fired, Kevin Feige would be in trouble right now.
Preach.
We giving you reliable gaming news and real, genuine game reviews.
I'll stand for Lightning.
Why does she have 3 games?
Because she a bad...
I hate you so much right now.
Listen to the Trap Nerds Podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's good? It's Colleen Witt, and Eating While Broke is back for Season 3. Brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. We're serving up some real stories and life lessons from people like Van Lathan.
TMZ was starting a tour. Harvey came and took the tour. By July, I'm on TV every day. I endear myself to the audience. He comes in, he goes, we're going to give you a raise. I think maybe a year, 2 years after that, I was a producer.
DC Young Fly.
It wasn't really no way for us to make income off of Vine like that. Mm-hmm. It was more so notoriety. Once that popped off, it was like people was following it. And I didn't know how big it was. I didn't know people was doing this on their spare time. I was like, don't do that, kids. That's bad. It was crazy that it had to be that real and that harsh.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Our mission was we was telling everybody in the hood, we finna go meet Eazy-E. We about to come back and do a video. Of course, we didn't know, so we was lying like a mother.
Little do we know, we speak in reality and we gonna come back with a bus and camera crew.
And many more. They're sharing the dishes that got them through their struggles and the wisdom they gained along the way. We're cooking up something special, so tune in every Thursday. Listen to Eating While Broke on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If someone asked you to name a queer icon, who would you say?
Britney, Christina.
That's not who we were thinking about. Try again.
Shirley Bassey, Tina.
And again.
Madonna, Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey.
No, there's still someone you're missing.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen in particular. Leather Twink, Bruce Springsteen, just very hand on hip, sassified Bruce.
This is Because the Bus Belongs to Us. A serious journalistic quest to get Bruce Springsteen recognised as the queer icon we know that he is.
There's so much camp potential with him.
On my dating profile, I had something about being a fan of Nebraska-era Bruce Springsteen.
It's like you squint and everyone can be a butch.
Listen to Because the Bus Belongs to Us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's something different about the conversations we have late at night.
They often spin off in strange and wonderful directions.
So we asked, what if those laid-back conversations were with some of the biggest musicians in the world and some of the most interesting new artists we love right now?
Midnight Chats has already welcomed Tame Impala, Charlie XCX, Mark Ronson, Vince Staples, and many others.
Our biggest and best series is happening right now.
So join me, Greg Cochran,
and me, Stuart Stubbs,
as we talk to our favourite musicians about the things they don't usually talk about.
I'm feeling more okay with being a diva.
There was one birthday when I went to a graveyard.
Every partner that I've ever had, when they look at my texts with my mother, are like, how are you sharing this information?
Listen to the new series of Midnight Chats every Tuesday night on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favourite shows.
Hey, it's Perez Hilton from the Perez Hilton Podcast, keeping you in the know. Here's a bit of our show. Ellen DeGeneres was in Los Angeles doing stand-up, and she addressed the controversy. She says that amidst the toxic workplace scandal, that she became, quote, the most hated person in America. All right, talk about exaggerating, please, Ellen.
Well, I've always been Team Ellen.
Me too.
Well, no, you weren't. You know you
That's
weren't.
not true.
You were
Yes.
like taking the side of those crybabies that worked for her because she told them they were terrible at their job because they probably were.
No. Are Taylor and Travis's personalities too different to be compatible in the long term?
Right.
And you said, oh, they've got similar families and this and that. I'm like, yeah. I get it. Opposites attract. To a point. If you're too different, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Listen to the Perez Hilton Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
All right. I couldn't help myself in talking about my skin type and my skincare routine throughout this. But I think we can get a little bit more granular in the lightning round about our skin and our skincare routine.
Yeah, lay it on us, Jen. What you do, what you got.
So I do have oily skin. It's kind of normal on my cheeks, but very oily in my T-zone. So I don't know if it's combination or oily. I don't know. I've never officially been diagnosed.
I mean, you know yourself best.
So, but I just know that I use oil-free everything. Like nothing on my face has oil in it because it will just, the foundations will get cakey. Even the Smashbox one isn't perfect, but using a moisturizer does help with how oily my skin gets. So that's another way, knowing your skin type and using the right products helps save money on makeup because it's less reapplying if you're not getting as oily and having to like reapply your makeup. Just that's a bonus. But so I use mostly CeraVe. You know, Michael Cera's skincare company.
That is such an amazing marketing
Super Bowl ad
plan.
was so good. If you haven't seen it, the CeraVe like company of skincare just hired Michael Cera to say that it was his skincare line. But so that's pretty much what I use because it's affordable. Every single dermatologist on TikTok loves it. And I was like, if they love it, I love it because they have the best say. They say what's best. So I'll use in the morning their combination moisturizer sunscreen. The sunscreen is 30 SPF. It's thick like a sunscreen too, right? So I use their moisturizer without SPF at night, and that's very thin and light. But I really have to work it in the morning. So just be aware, like if you don't really rub it in, it's going to leave like a white film on your face. And so I just use it very lightly, like one pump on my face in there, and we're good. And then I'll use the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell moisturizer foundation.
Do those still exist?
Sunscreen.
Pizza Hut
I hope
Taco
so.
Bell?
The song still exists. The song lives in perpetuity on the internet. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just search for it. So that is the morning. If I use the Smashbox combo, I don't typically use the CeraVe one. And then I'll do my makeup as normal. And then at night, I will use a collection of products. Usually that's when I'm using the samples. So it's said on the internet to work up your retinol usage. So start every other day, then work up to once a day, and then maybe even twice a day. But retinol, it makes your skin more sensitive to the sun. So if you're going to use it at night almost exclusively, unless you really, I don't know why you would need to use it in the morning, but unless you really need to use a lot of it, like by all means, retinol yourself. But I use it just at night. And right now I just started with my 35th birthday. So I'm using it like every other night. And so every other night I'll use one of the like skincare gifts that I've been gifted recently, the samples. So yeah, that is what I'll do. And then when I run out of those, I'll just use the retinol every night. And that is it. That is all.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah. I don't use, so they were talking about in this article that we didn't go over, like serums. I don't use any serums unless retinol is a serum. I'm not sure.
It could be, depending on what kind of retinol you get, I suppose.
The CeraVe retinol.
Right.
I used that one because I also looked for the best retinols.
Yeah.
And that one was on there. And it was
Wow.
like, dermatologists love it. And I was like, well, I love it too.
Wow.
Apparently, it's also a good starter retinol because retinols come in different potencies.
Yeah.
Right. So as a starter, I thought this will be good.
You're just a CeraVe girly.
I am a CeraVe girly.
Wow.
Yeah. Just, I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what I am.
You found what works for you.
Not because of their advertising, or maybe they are paying dermatologists to say this. I don't know, but it's
They very
working
well
for me.
could.
So, but yeah, so that and exfoliants. Sometimes people, I'm seeing exfoliants on these lists, but that's debatable. So serums and exfoliants sometimes are on the minimalist skincare routine list, but not every. But the 3 that are on every are the cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen. And in that order. Always cleanser first, moisturize. You go in order of heaviness. So when I'm doing the retinol, I'll do cleanser, retinol, moisturizer. But in the morning, it's cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen.
Heaviest first, lightest last.
No. Lightest first, heaviest last. Because sunscreen is heavier than moisturizer.
Yeah.
But retinol is lighter than moisturizer.
Yeah.
Lightest first.
That makes sense.
Heaviest last. And waiting that 30 to 60 seconds between each layer.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. So I have what I believe to be normal skin, but erring on the side of dry. If anything, dry, which I have learned that dryness can also lead to some breakouts. Both oily skin and dry skin can suffer from that. So that's one of the things I have to kind of keep in mind as I've gotten even like into adulthood. But I have noticed things beyond skincare can lead to blemishes in the skin. And I remember when we did the poll for this episode, people responded back citing their diet a lot too, related to how they care for their skin. And this is going to be different from everybody, but for myself, I notice that my skin does not have a great reaction to sugar. So thankfully, I like salt and savory things far more than sugar. So it's just not something that I typically enjoy anyways. And then there's this added piece of if I do eat more sugar than typical, I will notice it in my skin. So that's also something to be paying attention to, is how your body's responding to the time of month that it is, what you're eating, your stress levels, all 3 of those things. That's a whole other trinity that plays into what my skin can look like. But my routine at this point, and I began this maybe around like 32 when I started to realize that my routine from 18 years old should probably shift. Like that was what I was still doing. I was using some sort of cleanser that has been on the shelves of drugstores since I was a teenager and just still doing that thing. But starting to care a little more about how do I make my skin and body last for as long as I can. So I came across this company called Dime, not sponsored, but do love them. And they've got a variety of different products, but you can kind of buy like an entire system. And I appreciate it for the fact that I don't feel like I have to shop around to a bunch of different brands to find one cleanser or one moisturizer or one toner. Like they kind of have everything that you need. So I don't have to, that was prohibitive to me. Like I want a good skincare routine, but I don't want to have to get my cleanser from here and my moisturizer from there and my sunscreen from over here. I just wanted a one-stop shop. Plus for me, something that's really important is like utilizing natural ingredients and sustainable business practices. I like to use the EWG app. It's EWG Healthy Living. Many of you might be familiar with this. It's something where you can check out both like skincare, hair care, cleaning products on their app. They've got really high standards, highest standards for health and transparency related to chemicals of concern. and just kind of being overall ethically sourced, all of that. So Dime has really great ratings on the EWG app. So when you're talking like affordability but quality, this has been that radical middle for me. But it includes cleanser, moisturizer, toner, and serums. And then occasionally I will add in like a mask. That is separate. I use the like Aztec clay mask.
I've never used a clay mask before, but I, for the first time ever, used one of those face masks that come in the
like
packet.
A sheet.
Yes. And it was like you have to keep it on for 15 to 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And Travis comes into the bathroom and I'm like, don't look at me. And if you do look at me, don't say anything. And I was like, I don't think I'll do this again. I scare me. Like, I'm not going to, I can't look at my children. I can't look at my husband.
Yeah. It is
I can't look at myself.
A vulnerable thing to walk around with a mask on. And particularly the clay mask really like makes your skin feel really tight as it's happening. But afterwards, my skin feels so soft, and I think it is a nice exfoliant. I know we've been focusing primarily on our face skin. We didn't totally specify that. Obviously, our skin isn't our entire body. Not that there's not too much that we're doing with our whole body, although we should put sunscreen on all of it if we're out in the sun. But something I'm noticing lately is how important exfoliating all of the body is. Like, we wash our faces every day, but we're not always like using some sort of gentle scrub on the rest of our bodies. But that can be a really good practice for kind of rejuvenating your skin cells.
Knees, feet.
My legs. Yeah, feet. Exactly. And then, if you want, getting a good moisturizer for the rest of your body too. I think that's important. I think that's one of the things we kind of push aside. We might get some cheap, and I mean that in the true sense of the word, moisturizer. But like you said, Jen, at the beginning, our skin is our biggest organ. And so I think as much as we need to be concerned about what we're putting on our face, we should be concerned about the lotions we're putting on our whole body.
Yes.
It is getting absorbed into our entire system through the skin. So be a little bit judicious about.
Yeah, I was really inspired by our interview with the Low Tox Life about the things that I'm putting in my body, especially the scents around, the artificial scents around me. And to move toward a body wash that's more natural. I'm not super crunchy, but I know the things that are directly going into my lungs and into my skin and like into my stomach, like my body. Those are the things I want to be most cautious about as far as like what is in them.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope that this helped you kind of discern how you want to either start, amend, reduce, whatever to your skincare routine. I hope it saves you money, and I hope it saves you physical space. And if it did, we'd love to hear about it in a rating and review, like this one from, oh my Lord.
That's how I would say it too.
Oh, like meat and candy. 5 stars. This keeps getting worse and worse. Jill and Jen have an obvious chemistry, and each podcast is a combination of healthy, applicable information, yet fun to listen to and very professionally done. Fun vibe. I'm excited to hear more.
I'm like meat and candy.
Who's the meat and who's the candy?
Wow. We're going to have to leave that one up to imagination.
You guys can decide.
Thanks for that very thoughtful, intriguing review. Again, thank you everyone for listening. Please leave us a review. Please sign up for the Friendletter. Please keep coming back for more. We love it. We love it all.
Can't do it without you. See you next time. Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani.
Jen.
Jill.
I went to Sephora for the very first time.
You went to
my
all the
entire
way in
life.
Tampa?
I was already in Tampa.
Okay.
I was already there.
That's why I didn't get a birthday freebie from Sephora, because I did not want to drive to Tampa.
Oh, wow. I did not know that we didn't have one in St. Pete. Just learning that now. Okay. I went there to get lipstick for our photo shoot for our author bios.
Our author headshots and bios. The picture is the headshot.
Yeah. What did I say?
Author bios.
No, gosh.
We were just
The
writing
headshots,
those also.
Author headshots.
Man.
I can't think or talk.
Nope.
And I didn't want to make the mistake of just buying a lipstick that looks good on the shelf. I needed to try it on. And
Yes.
those are the types of places
You
that
got
will
to.
allow you to do that. Oh, man. But again, like I said, this is the first time I've been to an Ulta once before. But I get the stress sweats. The place stresses me out.
Really?
I
How?
realize. I don't know, Jen. It feels so complicated to me.
There are so many products for something so niche as body.
It just
The
feels,
body.
yeah, it feels like it's right in my face how much I don't know about that world. And it just feels so overwhelming to me. But then also the way that they have the store set up, it's by brand.
Yes.
So everywhere has everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that, which I guess it's like a drugstore too. It's arranged by brand, but there's just so much more of it. It's
Yeah.
like going into a Sam's Club when you're used to an Aldi or something. It just is so much.
Yeah.
And then someone comes to help you, and that's great. But then they're like putting mirrors in your faces, and there's fluorescent lighting, and I'm just not used to looking at myself that much. And somebody else looking at me and like trying to determine what to put on me. And I just I was sweating. I was stressed. The type of, you know how like stress or sweat is different, like when you exercise versus when you're stressed.
Yes. One smells.
Mm-hmm. It was the second, exactly. One's very normal and the other one feels thick.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was not for me.
I'm so
And
sorry.
Poor Eric was with me. He's colorblind. So
He is literally, he is colorblind. Yeah.
He can still see like some colors, just like certain colors don't show up for him. So he's not necessarily someone who can give super accurate feedback on like color paleting. But then I'm just like, I've tried on, oh my word, I looked like a toddler playing in their mother's makeup drawer by the time, because I had to put so much lipstick on my face, but then had to keep rubbing it off. But then, of course, they didn't have all the different supplies to be able to remove and reapply it. Like they had, eyebrow applicators that I'm trying to use to put lipstick on me. And it just was like, my lips were red outside of my lips. And it just was not great. But I was stressed. Like, we're getting these pictures soon, and I need to come
that
up
was a
with
stressful
something.
time. We had very little time to coordinate a photo shoot and then get that shoot done.
Yeah.
And both of us were unprepared for how quickly these things would come up, like author headshots, author bio, catalog copy, which I didn't even know that's what it was called. It's just what you read when you go to the Amazon page for the book. Like, I don't know
the
when
thing
I
that
thought this
convinces
stuff,
you whether or not to buy the book.
Very
it needs to
important.
be written
the
today.
cover. Like, I don't know. I thought I had a day between writing the book and having that stuff come up, but it is negative days that we had. I was like, I'm trying to finish this, a culmination of my life's work.
Yeah.
I need some time.
We just can't
think about
land on a
showering
lipstick.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I kind of feel like Anne Hathaway and Princess Diaries when I go into those places. I feel like everybody is just looking at me and they're like, oh my gosh, poor Princess of Genovia, you need us. Come here. And I'm like, yes, I am. I am the pre-Anne.
And then you've got these people walking around with big old baskets, head high with confidence, knowing exactly what they want to put in that basket. It's
not real. It's
what
never
is
real.
that? What does that thing do? I didn't even know that was a part of your face that you needed to care about.
Yeah, I am authentically Anne Hathaway pre-makeover.
Pre-makeover.
If you see my hair, if you like compare us, you're like, yes, actually you are. And I feel like so absorbed into the fold of like eventually they're going to bring out 2 pictures of me that I didn't know they took and release my face. And I'm going to be beautiful one day.
Oh, I do think that you're beautiful, but I can commiserate. It's a whole other land and world. And I need guidance in it.
It's brand new, season 2. I'm Marissa Thalberg.
And I'm Stephen Wolf-Bedeta, and we're excited to be back having bigger, bolder, and always real conversations.
Straight from the C-suite front lines of marketing, media, and more.
We have great friends joining from people you may know, like Wilmer Valderrama and Bobby Burke.
And people you'll want to know. So grab a coffee or, hey, even an Aperol Spritz and come join us on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Listen to Brand New on the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Trap Nerds Podcast.
This is not an episode.
I'm pretty sure this is a promo.
You know what it is. We in this piece.
Trap Nerds, real niggas like you never heard.
We giving you reliable gaming news
with the best movie and TV reviews from a blurred perspective.
All things inside and out of blurred culture.
Listen to the Trap Nerds Podcast on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's good? It's Colleen Witt, and Eating While Broke is back for Season 3. Brought to you by the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. We're serving up some real stories and life lessons from people like Van Lathan, DC Young Fly, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and many more. They're sharing the dishes that got them through their struggles and the wisdom they gained along the way. We're cooking up something special, so tune in every Thursday. Listen to Eating While Broke on the Black Effect Podcast Network, iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Presented by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, I'm Danny Shapiro, host of the hit podcast Family Secrets. Imagine this. Your parents sign away your childhood to an academic psychological study. And what about if your sister is very publicly tried, convicted, and sent to prison, when really she was just telling her long-buried truths? These tough questions are just a few that we'll be grappling with on our upcoming 10th season of Family Secrets. Listen to Season 10 of Family Secrets on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's something different about the conversations we have late at night.
They often spin off in strange and wonderful directions.
So what if those laid-back conversations were with some of the biggest musicians in the world?
Midnight Chats has already welcomed Tame Impala, Charlie XCX, Mark Ronson, Vince Staples, and many more.
Join me, Stuart Stubbs,
and me, Greg Cochran,
as we talk to our favourite musicians about the things they don't normally talk about.
Listen to the new series of Midnight Chats on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favourite shows.